So the most recent NGS headline just finished, and it had a great amount of detail regarding the Kvaris update that launches on June 8th. As this is now the officially confirmed date, you can request your days off and mark it on your calendar so that way you can wake up in time for the update. But there's a lot to go over, so let's just jump into it. Yui Hasegawa was the host for this current headline report as Hiro Arai was not available. They showed off a ton of information when it comes to the actual Frozen Resolution update, which launches on June 8th. The first thing being a showcase of most of the available enemies in the Kvaris region. They showed off the region mag like we didn't know that it was going to exist again, and they also showed off some of the new gathering items. They showed off the new Trania, showed off the new combat sector, which is the Bulugana Ruins. They also showed off the Hovok, which is basically like the combat drone from the Alia regions. This time they shoot rockets, and they were a lot cooler to look at. It's like you have a yellow little guy just following you around, and you wouldn't hurt a little guy, right? Golden and silver enemies now also have increased drop rates, with silver enemies giving us 100% increased drop rate and experience gain, and golden enemies giving us 200% increased drop rate and experience gain. I also mentioned that there was going to be new actions and trials. I mentioned this in the previous headline, where these new actions are going to be the snowboarding action as well as the throw action. However, this time around they went into a little bit more detail. It showed off the Tundra enemy suppression trial, which is basically your standard kill all enemies trial, but this time on snowboards. They showed off the Dolls transport heist trial, which is not to be confused with Payday 2 heists. They gave us a quick peek of the cold photon excitation trial, which basically you're throwing lots of giant floating crystals that deal AoE damage to all enemies nearby. And they also brought back the Blizzard Zone enemy suppression, which is basically the same trial that we've been doing in Redum, the tornadoes, but this time with ice. With the release of the Kvaris region, we're also getting the level cap increase, which is now going to be 60. Also gave us a sneak peek at some of the new skills that are going to be available with our skill points. I'll be going over these in detail in another video. It showcased a third 6-star weapon series that has multiple appearances depending on the weapons that are being used. Also be available for all the weapons, so you will be able to use this for the multi-weapon system. Now I freeze frame on this specifically to showcase some of the new augments that we're going to be getting. You have the new augment trippable, which is potency plus 2% to all. And you have a new gigantic series of augments, which gives you plus 15% HP and also 2.5% potency to multiple stats, such as ranged tech, melee tech, and melee ranged. Finally, they told us that chapter 3 of the story will be coming out on June 8th as well as we'll be able to see the new Kvaris camp. During the story, we'll be meeting 3 new NPCs as well as the new Kvaris camp, which will be entirely housed with robots instead of actually living NPCs. We knew a lot of the story information since we actually saw that in an interview recently. So if you want to find out more details, go check out the interview video that I made previously. We got clips from the Crocodilus Vera Suppression Op Urgent Quest. This Urgent Quest will actually be showcasing both the new actions that we have in this region. We'll be using the snowboard action to be able to get to the boss and then use the throw action to actually deal damage to the boss. And then finally, we're getting some much needed changes to the Battle Diaz system. Along with the new Battle Diaz that we wound up getting for the Redum region, the previous Battle Diaz will then also have increased ranks, including yellows. The yellows will have increased ranks to be able to give us not only more experience, but slightly better loot and a better challenge. In addition, one of the things that I'm very excited about when it comes to the Battle D yellow specifically is that now they basically act like keys from base PSO2, where the experience gained from these yellow triggers is no longer deducted or have diminishing returns in any way, shape, or form. So if you run a Battle D yellow, you'll be able to get the full amount of experience regardless of what level you are. For those of you guys who like your mini games, they do have a new minigame called Field Races that you'll be able to compete in time trial like activities with up to 32 people. As of right now, there's going to be 1 in Redum, 2 in Alio, and 1 or maybe 2 in the Kvaris region. They actually did not state how many was going to be in Kvaris. Finally, they also showed off a ton of new features that are also quality of life for the game as a whole, such as the Alliance badge system, also Alliance tasks. Be able to trade these badges in for yellows, purples, as well as new fashion items. There's also going to be a story quest counter. You'll be able to replay some of the story missions. Oh, and there'll be an SG and a Meseta treasure shop, so that's coming back too. For all of you who like making slightly older characters, there's going to be a new imposing face. And then now you're going to be able to set the color sync settings for each individual cast part. You'll be able to toggle the ornament displays for the base wear in the previews as well as store previews. And you'll be able to preview voices in the personal shop as well as the scratch previews. You're going to be able to search for parties that are in the same zone regardless of what block they're on. And finally, they're giving us the auto sell feature, which is something that we've been looking for quite a while. However, they did not let us know how much SG this is going to cost, only that it's going to cost SG and be available with premium as well. You'll be able to showcase your character in the ARCS ID. Be prepared for a lot of booba. You'll be able to zoom in certain parts of the screen using the magnification tool. This is going to be really good for for console players. Finally, you'll be able to receive mission pass items in bulk, updating the special scratch with some of the spring items, as well as allowing you to be able to move around during the mag animation whenever you feed the region mag. Weapon camos will also share the color variant of the weapon that you currently have equipped in its animation. They also showed off a ton of cool fashion, but I'm not a fashion channel, so I'll leave that to the fashion experts. But I really do think that some of these things are really cool, especially this Raiden Revengeance Metal Gear Solid lookalike outfit. Next little bit of info comes out on June 15th with an update to the Rager Gorge, where you'll need to be able to have your ice resistance as well as your low temperature resistance to be able to survive in this kind of climate. However, beginning on the 15th, we're going to have access to ancient enemies, which are an upgraded form of the gigantic enemies that'll be exclusive to the Rager Gorge as a whole. All right, now I'm going to talk plainly for this because this is really, really cool. For those of you guys who enjoyed the HTPD difficulty from back in base PSO2, where you had 4 players and you fought a mega boss, there will be a new trigger that showcases that same style of combat. However, it will be the Dark Falls Interception rank 2, where the Dark Falls urgent quest will now be a trigger and then also allow you to go with 3 other players to a max of 4 to be able to take on this new level 60 variant that is hyper aggressive. You'll only be able to get a maximum of 5 deaths and have a time limit of 20 minutes. So you will need to be on your A game while completing this set of content. This appeals to me very greatly, and I'm glad that we have something like this. I don't think you understand, I've been waiting for some little bit of difficulty to actually try and play this game at a high level. Now, to wrap it all off, basically, there's going to be new campaigns beginning in June as well. There's going to be the Twitter follow retweet campaign that starts on June 8th. There's going to be a limited time login bonus that starts on June 15th, and there's going to be a pre-announced urgent quest campaign that starts on June 22nd. So for all you new players, there's going to be another campaign that's going to be starting on June 8th, where you'll be able to get 3 brand new pieces of armor and all 16 weapons to be able to create whatever you need, and also catch you up and get you into the Kvaris region as quickly as possible without impeding your gameplay and your enjoyment of the early game content. And then finally, for all my Sonic fans, beginning June 16th on the PSO2 blocks, you guys can go ahead and check out the Sonic lobby, and then beginning June 23rd on the NGS blocks, to keep an eye on the official Twitter for the keyword, so you guys can go and get the Sonic shoes that were available last year and the music disc that'll be available for your mag. So that's some pretty cool stuff. There's also one more campaign that they wound up announcing during this headline stream, and it's a Twitter event where using the hashtag 10th anniversary art _ PSO2 NGS, you can send a screenshot to be added into the mosaic for the 10th anniversary project that'll be showcased at a later date. All in all, the June update looks pretty packed with a lot of quality of life improvements and a lot of things that we're going to be looking forward to. June 8th by itself already has a ton of things that we're going to be excited for, and it looks like PSO2 NGS is going to be shaping up to be the game that we've been hoping it to be for a long time, especially since launch. Well, the June 15th update might just be one single enemy that gets to spawn, and it's going to spawn whatever the hell it feels like. That's not that really big of a big deal, because the following week after, we get brand new triggers to be able to give us some challenging content that we desperately needed in NGS. This also sets the precedent that more challenging content will be available in the future as more things continue to be added. So whereas base PSO2 had things like HTPD and also the Persona fight before that, NGS very well may have more difficult content into the future. With them adding races and improving the quality of life, it looks like more social features will be available for casual players as well. Using this headline as a baseline, as long as they continue to keep on developing the game on the track that they're currently on, then PSO2 has a very bright future ahead of it. Having the ability to have more story elements during the months of August going forward also helps the game in terms of the longevity of the story and lore, which will help the game feel more full and have us, the player, have more attachment to the game besides just randomly killing enemies in the dolls. All in all, this is going to be a very good update and sets the precedent of what Sega is going to be working on in the future. And while we did not get a roadmap this time around, that's perfectly fine, because it shows us what Sega can do when they set their minds to creating a good quality game. So with that being said, let's hope that other Sega titles like NGS and the Sonic franchise will be just as good as their Hatsune Miku titles, or even the Yakuza franchise, which is done by their subsidiary Atlas. But it's very exciting to see that this is going to be the future of NGS, and that's pretty awesome. With that being said, thank you guys again for watching. I'm going to be going over some of the things that I didn't go over in this video in future videos, so stay tuned for that. And thank you guys again for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.